remained faithful to the Abrahamic faith. Okay, and that is from the progeny of Ismail alayhi salam. Okay, I think I have given you the whole lineage from Ismail down to the whole family tree. Okay, so there was a group that remained faithful to that message. Okay, and our Prophet is the supreme being of that group. Okay, others were his father, his grandfather, his uncle Abu Talib, okay, and many of his forefathers. Okay, all of his forefathers were not a part of that, by the way. Let's make it clear, because those like Abu Jahl and Abu Lahab, they were also related to Prophet ﷺ, okay, but they were not part of that. Okay, so once again, as we were discussing Prophet Ibrahim ﷺ, okay, we saw that his father was a believer. One of his uncle was also a believer, and one uncle was an idol worshipper. Not only idol worshipper, but idol producer. He crafted idols for Namrud. 3 sons of one of the most believing persons at that time. Okay, one of them, okay, a believer, okay, who was the father of Ibrahim, okay, one idol worshipper, idol crafter, and one who was the grandfather of Lut, also believer, from the same father and also the same mother. Okay, so you can see that in the history things occur. Okay, so all people in that progeny were not the followers. Okay, but there was present always, followers who stayed, in that faith. From Prophet Ismail to Prophet Isa, it's a period of about 1900 years, 1844 to be exact. How much? About 2000 years. Okay. 2000 years. In this long span of time, there was not a single prophet in Arabian Peninsula. From Ismail to no. From Ismail, I'm making 2 separate, descendants of the Prophet Ibrahim. One is Ishaq, where the prophethood continued till Isa alayhi salam. Okay. Okay. Ishaq is the brother of Ismail. Okay. Ismail is older, Ishaq is younger, and Ishaq died 6 years after Ismail. He survived Ismail. Okay. He survived Ismail. He died. But Ishaq's son Yaqub was the prophet. Yaqub's son Yusuf was prophet, and the prophethood went through them till the time Isa alayhi salam. Okay. But from Ismail's progeny, there was no prophet. Okay. Ismail's progeny, no prophet. Okay. That 2000 years is time till Prophet Isa, and almost 600 years after Prophet Isa is Prophet Muhammad alayhi salam. Okay. So now the basic question is, okay, that if there is no prophet, was the guidance accepted by people? Yes, people stayed on the path of Ismail for centuries. Okay, they remained centuries till eventually, the idol worship was introduced. Okay, and many people have come with the reasons for it. We are not going to go into those details. Okay, not our topic. Okay, but to just accepting it from some distant land. We have people who are idol worshippers. Someone goes out and sees, oh, these are people who are worshipping something. Who is this? Oh, this is our relation to God, for example. Okay, and they come up, and that's how idols came. Okay. Then there was also the concept that had come earlier also in the progeny of Idris, and that concept was that they looked at their leaders as their saviors, for example, okay, And when those leaders died, okay, in reference to them, they made, their figures, okay, and slowly this figure became an act of worship, okay, and so on. Okay. So this was that. Okay. Some of the traditions that remain, one of them was Hajj, the Tawaf Hajj also, okay. Okay. But Tawaf was naked, okay. Okay. And they would say du'as there in Arabic, of course, okay. And they talk about the partners of Allah in that dua. Dua is still available. Okay. That you have partners, but those partners are not beyond you. You control them. In other words, okay. So they were major God, supreme, and then minor ones, one is partners. Okay. And Islam said clearly, La sakamithlihi shay'un. Okay. La sharika lahu. Okay. There's none. Okay. So this was the status of Arabia, okay, in a nutshell. When the Prophet Islam was born, his miraculous birth is there, and I'm not going to go into it. Okay. He's being the light, okay, throughout the whole period from Adam till his father. I'm not going to discuss it. These are fundamental beliefs. Some of the scholars, modern day scholars, for example, this book is being discussed in the book club here. There's a book club in Icon where this book is being discussed. Sheikh Jafarian. Okay. But, when they took at face value of the history, okay, without Aqidah, okay, you're going to come across reports of all kinds. Okay, reports of all kinds. Okay, so talk about the Prophet. He says, at the same time, the Prophet has not yet been commissioned with prophetic mission. And naturally, he did not have familiarity with the Quran or with the detailed articles of faith. Page 145. And many other things. So just to mention things, okay? My insistence on Quran and the verses from Quran is to make sure that we go by the book, and that book is no other book than Quran. Okay? I don't know, I told them to accept things with a grain of salt. Okay, that's all I can say. But keep this in mind, that an author, when he looks at things from history has been polluted beyond repair. Okay.
There is a book too,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
He writes even in that he has quoted Quran, but a lot of his feedback is from Bihar Ulama.
Mm-hmm.
That he is taken, but is Bihar Ulama like a strong book or something?
No.
Yeah, so I think that's what the gaps are. But I enjoy his books a lot because he has taken reference from Quran also.
Okay. You see, Bihar is a 100+ volume book. Okay, of traditions. Okay, and he has just collected them. Okay, he has not codified them. Okay, or divided them. Okay, into various, categories that we must divide the tradition into, whether it's authentic, whether it's not, whether it's weak, whether it's strong, whether it is Khabar al-Wahid, for example, or whether it's Mutawatir, and there are, many classifications of hadiths. Okay. But that being said, It's one of the, you know, most known treasures of knowledge, okay, Bihar al-Anwar, okay, because it has a lot and lot of traditions. Yeah, yeah, it's very long, okay. So this was the first time that people from your school of thought got a chance to write. And whatever has been written has been written. The Prophet ﷺ received revelation, for example, at the age of 40, as we say. Okay? And they have talked about Prophet ﷺ before the age of 40, you know, as a person who was a good man, okay, and there are many good men in the world. Okay? Okay. This person was a good man. Okay? It's not enough to be a good man. To receive the tradition, you must be masoom. It's not goodness. Isma is entirely different. And Isma is also not sinlessness. We are wrongly translating it to sinlessness. No. Okay. एक आदमी अगर गुनाह न करे पूरी जिंदगी में, तभी वो मासूम नहीं हो सकता. Isma is the lutf of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on the selected few that He chooses, okay, who are endowed with specialties. Okay, you see, the divine light flows through the prism of prophethood, and the perfect prism is the prism of Muhammad alayhi salam, okay, through which all colors of divine light are visible. मैं इससे बढ़ के क्या बताऊँ, मेरे पास अल्फाज नहीं है, ठीक है? I don't have the words to describe it. Okay. So just to assume that he became prophet or he declared his prophethood, you know, would be, you know, historically maybe, okay, yeah. But intellectually, okay, and religiously, okay, based on what we know about the prophet, is really wrong. Okay. Wahi revelation is of many kinds. For example, revelation is a dream, okay, a true dream. Once again, to quote Quran. Okay, so Safat, 37th surah of Quran. Okay, right? Yes. There's a dream. Verse number 1 or 2. فلما بلغ معه السعي قال يا بني إني أرى في المنام أني أذبحك فانظر ماذا ترى. Okay. Ibrahim is speaking to his son. Okay. Ya bunayya, oh my son, inni ara fil manam, I saw in my dream. Manam is dream. Ara, I saw. Anni azbahuka, yeah, and I'm slaughtering you. I'm slaughtering you. Okay. Fanzur maza tara. Okay, what do you say? Okay. Wahi is a dream. Okay. Now look at the answer that the son gives. Son is only 13 years old. How many? Only 13. Qala yabate ifal matuma. Oh my dad, do what you have been ordered to do. It's not dream, it's wahi. So one of the ways that wahi comes is through dream. And this dream has been described in the Quran clearly. Okay? There are no words that can be minced. Okay, the words are clear. I see in my dream. I have seen in my dream. But I have seen Anni azbahuka, that I am slaughtering you. Okay. It's a dream. Okay. But the son is also a prophet. Ismail is also a prophet. And Ismail knows that the dreams of the prophet are wahi. So prophethood is with him. He is not going to wait till Ibrahim passes away and declares his prophethood as such. To community, yes, but as far as he is concerned, he is prophet already. A prophet is born prophet. This is the fundamental tenet of Shiite Islam. Prophet is born prophet. Imam is born imam. Okay? Imama does not come on the day of Ghadir. Okay? When he's born in Kaaba, he's imam. Okay? Okay? So this fundamental differences, we have the historians. There's history, of course, So wahi comes through dream. Then wahi is also something that happens in your heart. Allahu Akbar. Once again, in every heart, every human being, he has some impression in his heart. He thinks about a few things. Okay? Surah Baqarah, second surah of Quran. Verse number 97. Ya Allah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala help. Verse number 97. قل من كان عدوا لجبريل فإنه نزله على قلبك بإذن الله. Okay? He comes to your heart. Okay? He is revealed to your heart بإذن الله, with the order of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Verse 97, Surah Baqarah. Similarly, in Surah Shura, 26th Surah of Quran, Allahu Akbar. Verse number 192 through 196. Allahu Akbar. وإنه لتنزيل رب العالمين نزل به الروح الأمين على قلبك, on your heart, لتكون من المنذرين, so that you are one of the warners. Okay. Surah Shura, from verse 192 through 194, small short verses, وإنه لتنزيل رب العالمين نزل به الروح الأمين, okay, على قلبك, on your heart, لتكون من المنذرين بلسان عربي مبين, okay, in the clear-cut Arabic language. 192 through 195. Okay, once again, something that's intimated on your heart. Okay, impression on your heart. Okay, then sometimes by the voice of an angel. The first revelation, Surah Alaq. Okay? Surah Alaq, Surah number 96 in Quran. Okay? Iqra bismi rabbika alladhi khalaq. You remember that? The first 5 verses from 1 to 5. Okay? Iqra bismi rabbika alladhi khalaq. Khalaq al-insan. Iqra wa akram. So, now you are hearing the voice of an angel who is present there. Regarding this, a lot of people have come with so many reports. Okay. One report by, Sayyida Aisha is that, he was in a dream and he saw this. Okay. And when he woke up, the dream became evident. Okay. Another narration by her and by Ibn Abbas and by others, Okay. But one tradition we have by Ali alayhi salam, okay, who was present in Hira at that time. Okay. And he said, I saw the nur of Wahi descend. There is no squeezing there. Okay? Or squeezing till he thought he would die. In so many other traditions. And then I heard a big cry. Okay? And I asked the Prophet, Ya Rasulullah, what is this? Okay? Remember, he says, Ya Rasulullah at that time. Words tell you. Okay? The Prophet replied, "O Ali, that was the voice of Satan. Satan. Okay. And he said, all my efforts would be useless because his faith would persist. Okay. And that's true. Okay. It is there today, and it will be till the day of judgment. Okay. Our trials will go through, but the message of Quran is permanent. No alteration, no change, no addition, no deletions. And then the Prophet said, Allahu Akbar. O Ali, Ya Ali, Anta tasma ma asma. O Ali, you hear what I hear. Wa anta tara ma ara, and you see what I see. ये बातें कहाँ लिखी हुई हैं इसमें?
So actually, Mir Ahmed Ali's Quran, which is most times, I mean, I've seen him not be supported, but he actually writes this whole story and he talks about, how he was sent to that priest, that it can't be true because of the infallibility. How can the priest tell the Prophet of Allah that
The priest was Warqa bin Nawfal, who was cousin of Sayyidah Khadija, okay, or his uncle, either way. Most probably his cousin, because there are some reports that Warqa was one of those who had proposed to her. He was Christian. So he had proposed her. By the way, of those who proposed her were many notables in Quraysh, including Abu Sufyan, who proposed her. And she rejected all of them. So to say that she was married twice before is sheer nonsense. Okay. Anyway, so this is Wahi. Wahi also is sometimes special. It's called Surah Najm. Something where Allah speaks directly. Okay. Surah Najm, 53rd Surah of Quran. Allahu Akbar. وَالنَّجْمِ إِذَا هَوَى مَا ضَلَّ صَاحِبُكَ وَمَا غَوَى وَمَا يَنْطِقُ عَنِ الْهَوَى إِنْ هُوَ إِلَّا وَحْيٌ إِنْ هُوَ إِلَّا وَحْيٌ عَلَّمَهُ شَدِيدُ الْقُوَى ذُو مِرَّةٍ فَاسْتَوَى وَهُوَ بِالْأُفُقِ الْأَعْلَى ثم دنا فتدلى فكان قاب قوسين أو أدنى فأوحى إلى عبده ما أوحى. And he revealed to his prophet what he wanted to reveal. The prophet became closer to him, closer than two bows of arrow, wasn't it? Qaba qausain aw adna, or shorter than that, or less than that. Okay? فَأَوْحَى إِلَىٰ عَبْدِهِ مَا أَوْحَى. Now here, some of the commentators have said that Allamahu Shadidul Quwa, okay, is Jibreel, not Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If that is so, why the Prophet had to make night journey? Jibreel was coming every day to him. That's number one. And second, those of you who have read Dua Nudba, okay, would you see that Shadidul Quwa is mentioned for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? And Dua Nudba is, from who? एक बात का ख्याल रखिएगा, आपका कैनवस जितना वसी होगा, तस्वीर इतनी खूबसूरत होगी. So this is from behind the curtain. Okay? فَأَوْحَى عَلَىٰ عَبْدِهِ مَا أَوْحَى. Okay? Then there is revelation also through other objects. For example, through a tree for Musa alayhi salam. Okay? If you recall, he was coming back from his, in-laws. Okay? And he saw light, and he went towards it. Okay? And from that shajar, from that tree came the sound. I'm your Lord. Okay, get off your shoes. Okay. So this is from a tree through a medium. Yeah, sueta. This is from medium. Okay. So wahi is many forms, through dream, through heart, through the voice of an angel, through a medium, and by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala directly.
What would you say that other than prophets also receive inspiration, right? But
Yes.
we cannot say if that is really an inspiration or not because we don't have isn't.
A wahi is a medium of communication. Okay? Wahi is a medium of communication by which Allah communicates. Okay? To his prophets he communicates, okay, to deliver the message and to guide them towards the perfection in humanity. Okay? To an end, the wahi is to find a path, okay, that would protect and preserve her and generations. Or the Prophet Musa, to have, protect, to protect. So, to all of them, it is not the divine message for guidance, it is divine message tailored for a particular task. Okay? Message tailored for a particular task. The task for the mother of Musa is to protect Musa. How to protect it? Allah tells her to do it. A box, okay, and put him in the box and throw him in the water. Okay. So, similarly, when Musa comes in the field against the magicians, okay, and the magicians throw their ropes and they become, or they seem to be, serpents, okay, snakes. The word khifa is used for Musa, that he felt fear. Isn't it? Yeah. At that time, the revelation is coming to him. La takhaf. It's not angel, it's on his heart. So, the various forms. Sometimes a particular action, okay.
Also was an exclusive, although it was to a prophet, it was an exclusive
Yes, particular task. Okay. The way for guidance is this. Okay. Divine guidance. As I said, divine guidance is reflected through the prophet. Okay. And the most perfect reflection is through Muhammad alayhi salam, okay, who forms a prism, okay, that accepts the light of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and then scatters it for humanity in all beautiful shades and colors and forms. Have you seen a prism? What the prism does? The colors of light become visible. Okay. Colors of guidance become visible, okay, in the personality of the Prophet. And that's how we're going to discuss, his prophethood. Not historical, as I said, or, chronicle, as others would, okay, that he was born in such place, his mother died, his father died before his birth, his mother died when he was young, his grandfather he died also, his uncle took over, and he was a trade partner with Khadija. By the way, not employee of trade, Khadija. There's a wrong notion that he was an employee of Khadija. He was trade partner with Khadija. Yes.
He was the finance and he was the brain. Something like that?
No, equal. Okay. That must also be said, okay, because history has been written by historians who are on the payroll of rulers. And what they did, they did. The Prophet ﷺ is a restraining force for humanity. And that force arises from the perfection of faith, intensity of piety, and protection against not only the commission of sins, sinlessness, okay, but also of divine immunity. इसमत जो है वो अल्लाह की अदा की हुई है, ठीक है, और उसका कभी सौदा नहीं होता, ठीक है. I don't know, sometimes, I'm not able to express fully, okay, but that's what it is.
I enjoy your Sira classes, Mona. I'm here today because of that. So I'm just,
Alhamdulillah. So this is one person who reflects all that, okay. It's not some person who was pious, full of goodness, okay, full of virtues, who received the revelation at the age of 40 and became a prophet. Okay. It's entirely different, okay. So my next discourse would be, time for Salat. Next discourse would be, inshallah, next week. And we'll talk about the Prophet's life in few forms. His life as a moral leader, okay, in Mecca, for example, okay, where he did not have any physical power as such of governance. Okay. Second, his life as a political leader also, in addition to being a moral leader, in Medina. Okay. Then his life as a chief justice in Medina. Okay. Part of his own personality, but can be separated in these three forms. Okay. A moral leader, okay, a political leader, and a jurist. Okay. A jurist should never compromise with the politicians of the time. Okay. But here's one person where all these aspects of human nature come in complete configuration. Okay. One man, one mission, one person, Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam. Okay. So look at that, okay, and look at his impact, on humanity. Okay. Pray for me that I'm able to continue. Okay, inshallah. Okay.
and then I'd like to you to shed some light on your interpersonal skills also.
Interpersonal, family, and all that, inshallah. Inshallah.